All right, welcome to this course on the tremolo. Are you excited? Because it's a very exciting technique. The tremolo, this is what it looks like on the page. It's just a whole slew of 16th notes. So it's this technique, we go P-A-M-I, P-A-M-I over and over and over again so that it just creates this rippling effect that goes over. This is sort of the holy grail of classical guitar technique, also flamenco guitar and Spanish guitar. It's very evocative. It's got a particular je ne sais quoi, but it's a big, difficult technique, and it takes some time to work on it. So this is what we're going to do in this course. So first off, in this video, we're going to talk about it, set out some expectations on tremolo, your practice. Also, you'll get some warnings and some red flags and things to watch out for so that you don't make yourself some messes that you'll later have to clean up or hurt yourself, even worse. And then in subsequent videos, we will go through and talk about how to actually make the movements in your hands. Also then how to practice, how to build up speed, how to get it very even and smooth. You'll get some exercises to practice it with. And you'll also hear about different types of tremolos as well. So all this and more coming right up in this course on the tremolo. All right, well, in the next video, we're going to talk about how to actually play the tremolo in the hand. But before we do that, there are a few things that you should know about the tremolo. First off is that it's a pattern that repeats over and over and over again. And so for that reason, we run the risk of repetitive stress injuries. It's also kind of a funky thing in the hand because you're playing 3 fingers on one string. And so then it's a little bit funny in the hand. And so that too, if you're not really intentional about how your fingers are moving, how your hand is positioned and all this, then you really run the risk of repetitive stress injury. So then when you're practicing this, here's where expectations come in. Expect this to take a really long time. Practice this every day for a year and then check in. So in other words, don't take this course, practice for a week and say it's not working. It's going to take some time. You'll see levels of improvement. You'll probably have one bump fairly quickly and then the next one will take a little bit longer and then it'll just seem like you're not getting any better for a really long time, and then all of a sudden you'll have this beautiful tremolo, and where did that come from? So the main thing is that you practice a little bit each day. So short stints. As you're starting off in practicing the tremolo, I would rarely practice more than 5 minutes at a time on the tremolo. It doesn't mean you can't practice more than one of those 5-minute blocks a day or in your practice. Just don't stick them next to each other. Go off and do something else. Do some sight reading, work on your pieces, do whatever it is that you'd like to do, and then come back to it. So that way you can always be fresh in your mind. You can always be intentional with what you're doing. Pay attention as opposed to letting your mind wander and just grinding away on this thing over and over and over again until you inflame your knuckles or you hurt your tendons or something like that. So there's the big warning. Little doses over a long period of time. That's the recipe for the tremolo. It's a long-term project. Anyone you hear that has this beautiful, luscious tremolo, they've worked really hard on it for a really long time. And so it's not something that we just get magically. So know that this isn't an easy thing to do. It's simple, but to do it well, it's not easy. So just like holding your breath and free diving in the ocean, going down to 100 feet or whatever it is that free divers go down to, holding their breath, it's really simple. You just hold your breath and go down there. But it's not so easy because you could die doing it, and there's just like all these things to do, right? So I don't free dive, and so I don't really know what that entails, but I know that it's simple. You just hold your breath and go down deep in the water, but it's not easy. It takes time to actually get used to doing that, to know how to do it, to recognize what needs to go on so that you don't die, and how to control all of that. So it's the exact same thing here. So big warning, slow and steady wins the race, just like the tortoise. So as we go forward, keep that in mind. Here's the other thing. What is the tremolo actually? The tremolo is a compositional technique. It's an effect, just like a smoke machine on a movie set. If you put it outside, then it gets this mystical look. If you put it inside, then it must be like a dream sequence or a cult or something, because it has a particular atmosphere, right? It's a smoke machine. And because of that, and because it's so difficult, it's easy to put the cart in front of the horse. So in a piece of music, the point is still the piece of music. It's not the tremolo. So if we have Recuerdo Stella Alhambra, when we're learning this piece, it's a tremolo piece. There's this tremolo that goes all the way through it. So then the squeaky wheel is the tremolo, right? But really, the tremolo is just the tool that the composer, Tariga, uses to make the piece of music. But the piece of music is still the point. It still should be this beautiful thing that is its own thing. We happen to be using this effect, which is the tremolo, in it. But it's not, the tremolo isn't the point of the piece. The tremolo is a tool used in the piece. And so whenever we're playing music with tremolo, it's really important to remember that it's still music. And that while we have to do, this is kind of the behind the scenes, backstage, we have to do this funky thing in our hand and make this happen. But really, to the listener, it's still just a piece of music. And so it just wants to be a beautiful flowing thing that happens to use this texture, this tool that is the tremolo. So as we're working, the cart in front of the horse, no, the horse in front of the cart. So we're going to keep that going on, which means when we're learning music with tremolo, we still keep it as a piece of music. And as we learn tremolo pieces, it's best to work on the tremolo off to the side, work on the piece off to the side, and then put them together once we know the left hand moves and everything, and once we've got our tremolo happening. Instead of just glomming it all together all at once, and then the tremolo suffers, the notes over here suffers, so because we can't pay attention to anything fully at one time if everything's going on at once. So it's a lot of information to throw at you there. The main thing, be patient, be methodical, and pay close attention in your practice. Take small practices over time, frequently, daily, once or twice a day, for short amounts of time, very intentional and aware of how your right hand is moving, and with as little left hand as you can get away with when you're working on the tremolo, so that you can focus all your attention on the right hand, where it should be. So in the next video, we will be looking at how do you actually play the tremolo. And so this is where the rubber hits the road. We're gonna hold our breath and go deep into the ocean on this one. See you there.